Hey guys, I want to talk a little bit about this area highlight and tag structure that we have and why we are having problems using it. Let me go ahead and get into the builder. We are in the builder. So just a sec. Alright, so Charles and I were just looking at his iPhone 10, and we can see that that the one that we have is broken. And if we just put a normal H tag in there, even if it were a little bit bigger, it would look fine. And I want to talk about a little bit why that's happening. And to do so, we need to talk just a little bit about HTML standards. So if we go back and look at this section here, and we look at how this is built, you can see that this is an extremely custom way to do an H2 tag or any H tag. The way H tags work in HTML is that anytime you have text between the opening tag and the closing tag, just text by itself, then all the web browsers understand how to break that so that it wraps correctly, like we saw in the other screenshot. But the minute that you put other things inside of the H tag, it no longer functions as an H tag. And the browser doesn't understand how to render it. It thinks that it's just normal HTML. Now, what's actually happening here, in order for an H tag to break correctly, is that it has to have a space between the words, of course, just like we normally would. And you can see right here that we do have a space between the words. The problem, though, is that since this is not treated like an H tag any longer, when we upload or when the software, the code is uploaded to content delivery networks, any kind of optimization programs, these spaces are removed. They're not removed in H tags, but now that it no longer functions like an H tag, functions like a div, this is going to be automatically taken out. And one of the ways that we can mitigate against this happening is that HTML5 has an HTML element called white break, and basically it's so that you definitely have a space where you need a space in between words and such. And the way that works is that it's just one tag, and put WBR, and you can see it doesn't do anything to the screen. But now we know that no matter what, or the browser knows no matter what, there has to be a space right here, and this tells the browser that even though you don't know it's an H2 tag anymore, break right here, word wrap, so that you can get the effect that we're wanting, so for it to just look just like that. All right, so I don't know if that's cross-browser compatible. I have no idea. I do know that if we want to keep this section like this with the green font here and the different font altogether here, then there's going to have to be some trade-offs. If we want this to work absolutely flawlessly, then we've got to go back to a normal standard H tag. We can make them a lot larger. They're a lot easier to manage. And you're going to get the desired effect that you want across all browsers. Now, iPhone 6, iPhone 7, iPhone 10, the WBR tag is relatively new. It is an HTML5 element. It has not been out long at all. And so it's going to have less browser support. And honestly, there's not enough information about it yet for me to be able to say definitively whether or not iPhone software and browsers will render it correctly. And if it doesn't, then there's nothing that we can do about that unless we just go back to a standard H2 tag. So anywhere that you're seeing this problem, the approach is to go into it, edit it, and then wherever you need a space, right after the space, you want to put, well, right there's, you want to put space, and then WBR. Now, what happened was you noticed that if that was there, these ran together. So it's not going to have any effect on there actually being a space there. The way we can get around that, though, is to put in an HTML NBSP tag. And so that's going to be ampersand NBSP and that actually means space in HTML. And if we don't put that, if we go back and we have just that, what's going to happen is once the HTML is optimized for performance, again, the code is going to be condensed. All of the unnecessary white space throughout the entire thing is going to be eliminated to save on page size. And if that happens, this is what you're going to get automatically. And again, nothing we can do about that. So the only way to keep this effect is to go into this code, add the WBR, add the ampersand NBSP, and this construction right here will have to be part of all of this H tag where we have this complicated markup. This will have to be part of every single place where you need a space and where you need it to wrap correctly. And again, it's only going to work if the browser supports it. And again, I don't know if iPhone does that or not. So that's something that you guys need to discuss to see, if you really want this. We need to understand what the trade-offs are and what browsers are going to be affected, and see if we can't, create a situation that's universal. Because iPhone is pretty universal, and I would hate to think that you would want the broken H tags just for the sake of having this color. I mean, if it can't be fixed, then we're going to have to really decide whether or not we want to go back to this black, just black only, just standard H tag. All right, sorry for the long video, but I hope that helps you guys understand what we're having and what we need to talk about moving forward to see if we want to keep it or how to integrate it. All right, thanks.